Hi, everybody. Welcome to Happy AF. This is episode 7. We're calling this You Asked, We Tell, because we're going to do a whole Q&A session. The whole thing is questions and answers. Your questions, we're answering them totally truthfully. I'm Maxine, and I am happy alcohol-free.
And I'm Isabel, and I'm happy as fuck.
Okay, this is starting off so well. We've both, you've tripped over your own
Yeah,
name.
my own name. I'm like, is there an H in this one? Is there an H? Because I'm just, when you said you ask, we tell, my mind went, I could hear my husband go, oh no, you tell without nobody asking. That's where it went. I was like, so I was going to crack myself up.
Don't you love that you crack yourself up?
I crack myself up all the time.
All the time.
I think I'm hysterical.
I'm sure people must be like, what? She's just laughing at herself. I'm like, no, because what's going on in my head
is hysterical.
It's fucking hysterical.
It's funny.
I do have this, I have a cartoon brain.
Right.
So when I see something happening, I have the animated version of that, a cartoon version of what's happening in my head, and it just cracks me up.
Right.
Cracks me up.
No, I know.
All the time.
I think, there you go.
Anyway, here we are.
Yes.
Episode 7. Let's start with, what are we drinking?
Oh my God.
Liquid Joy.
This
What's
thing.
the Go.
And this the liquid joy that you will not get at private times here in Vermont, but you'll get it out in a bottle. First of all, that bottle is super sexy. This is
gorgeous.
made in Italy. It's a digestif. Digestif is something you usually drink after dinner, but this works also as an aperitif.
Okay.
I like it a little chilled, but don't have to be. This is an Amaro. So for those who don't know what Amaro is, it's a bitter. It's Italian, and this is actually Italian. It's a bitter, and they make it with bark and all these spices like you would a real Amaro, except without the booze. So it's not even a proxy. It's really
it's its own
thing. And the bottles, and it's called Amarno. Fucking A, right?
Oh, right.
Smell
I see
that
what
thing.
they did there.
Dr. Zero Amarno.
Oh, that smells so good.
It smells
because,
so
I'm
good.
not a huge digestif person.
Oh, wait till you taste that.
But this smells so...
So I keep saying that because it's true. All my alcohol friends that's still boozing hard love this. So my friend Kevin, shout out to my friend Kevin, and his husband Jose in New York, will come to my hotel after we meet for dinner and ask me if I brought some Amarno in.
Oh, some of the full ones, some of this
No,
NA
they want
one.
this stuff. They want the NA one.
Also, those glasses. Those glasses are the cutest. It looks like they're from a doll's house.
Well, that's because they're from the 60s. My mom got this when she got married, and that's back in the days when people drank all the time, so they drink in small quantities. But this makes me think of, I was telling you earlier, I'm in a Agatha Christie movie, and I'm like, Poirot, who has killed the lady in black.
I actually feel like I would much rather be in a Victorian gown.
Yeah, but you're like a princess. I like a crime scene.
That's where our brains went to different places.
That's where, exactly.
I'm sitting somewhere in the Gilded Age and asking, my Irish maid to come and refill my Amaro.
I'm smoking cigarettes, playing backgammon somewhere in the south of France with Poirot investigating a crime scene.
That's very good. I mean, I always felt that digestifs have a little bit of a medicinal.
That is definitely medicinal. So if you're not,
but I mean, that's what they're all about.
That's what they're about.
Is to settle your tummy, and certainly, coming off through and off the holiday season. I ate all my favorite Irish foods without restriction.
Oh, good for you.
So I could definitely be dealing with some digestifs.
Right. So you're not a digestif kind of gal. It's not your favorite thing.
I used to love to drink. Oh, this is something we could research because I don't know if this exists. I was a big dessert wine.
Oh, interesting. I should look into that.
I wonder if there's NA dessert wine.
They make NA vin doux. So it's like a sparkling wine that's got some residual sugar in it. So it's sweeter, but it's not like a Sauterne or anything.
Do you remember like a Sauterne, but also a Royal Tokai?
Yeah, we could look into that.
And obviously a Yquem.
Or even a port.
Yeah, hate port.
Right?
I hate
you
port.
You do?
Port, I have a story about port. So for those who don't know, before I was an actor and a singer, I was a barrister. I was
a lawyer.
And I went to bar school, to graduate law school in London.
No wonder you became an alcoholic. I'd say that, man. Every time you went
No
to
wonder you drank
bar
too much.
school.
Yeah, bar school. Because it's being called to the bar.
Right.
And it was funny. Actually, throughout my life, a lot of people, if you had ever said I went to bar school, they're like to be a bartender.
That's where my mind goes.
That's where your mind
Yeah.
went. Yes.
So
But
what
in
happened
France,
with port?
don't they have that also? Because there's barristers in.
Yeah, but they're called avocats. So
Avocat,
on the loi.
it's the same.
Well, yeah.
But so anyway, and they're just called, in America, it's different,
Right.
because it's a different legal structure,
Right.
Of the court system.
Right.
You either have audience rights or you don't. Whereas in England, Ireland, there's two separate professions called
Understood.
solicitors, who deal face with the client, and then barristers who have rights of audience.
Got it.
Anyway, so you go to a special school for
Right.
this, and it is all about the advocacy, hence avocat in the in the French term, and so British. Part of your year-long study to become a barrister after you've got your law degree is part of that year you have to do 12. I want to say it might be more than 12. At dinners where you have to go to your Inns of Court, where you have to be a member. I mean, I need to do a whole episode on this.
God.
So you're a member of one of the 4 Inns of Courts in London. And then within that Inn of Court, you have to sit down to these 12 or 18, maybe it is, organized dinners throughout the year. And you sit in these mess halls, right? If you've seen old movies, these long wooden tables with benches, and then you sit in order of seniority, and you've got it, and it's a whole thing, and you have to wear your gown, your black gown,
and
you don't
wig?
wear your wig yet because you don't have it because you're not called yet.
But you have to drink a lot of port,
and you have to wear. Get to the
I'm
point,
get to the point
of the story.
I want to know the
and you have to
part.
dress like you're going to court. It's a whole fucking thing.
Right.
But you get to drink. So it's you get fed.
Right.
And they pour wine throughout the meal, but then they would put bottles of port on the table for dessert. So when everybody else had gone home, those of us remaining would just drink.
You got wasted on port.
All the leftover port.
That's not a good way to get wasted. It's heavy.
Disgusting. And I didn't even like drinking it then, but if there were 10 of us hanging back, and then someone would hop up and go to another table and say, oh, they didn't drink any of their
so we'll
port,
finish it.
So we'll finish theirs. And then, I also remember smuggling port out of the Inns of Court. I'm not even sure if that was legal back then. Anywho, here we are. This is why I don't like port.
Right, I got you. But so for those who don't mind, it's a good one though. For those who don't mind the medicinal, and I'm with you. If you don't like digestive, the medicinal Amaro, you're not like this. Not going to like this because it's too close. It's literally like an Amaro.
It really is, and it has a lot of. It's herbaceous.
Yeah, they make it with bark and spices and herbs. Yeah. It's so witchcrafty.
But think about, am I wrong? Aren't those drinks like Jägermeister? Aren't they supposed to be digestives also?
I think you're right, but oh my God,
they were just shots back in the day.
I was going to say, that brings a couple of regrettable evenings in the 80s, late 80s.
Bombs.
Oh my God.
I mean, you couldn't pay me. I also
I can't even smell it.
Hate beer. I never liked beer. Never drank beer, ever.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Used to drink beers to feel American at a baseball game.
Yuck.
Never ever liked, even though I'm Irish, people be like, what, you're Irish and you don't drink Guinness? I'm like, no, I do not drink Guinness.
Right.
Also, I'm from Cork where we don't drink Guinness. We
I'm
drink
French Canadian and I don't like hockey.
Oh my, see, I mean, we are just breaking stereotypes. Left
look at us.
Right. It's like,
Well, guess what? I had to leave the country. I was chased out. They're like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And I might be, disowned as a non-drinking Irish person.
So, and then speaking of digestive and all of that, before we move on, I must congratulate you on a fantastic party. So our dearest here has thrown a great party.
Oh, that was an amazing party.
You're like the party queens of parties.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my God, it was so great.
I take it seriously.
I could tell. I could tell.
Although my husband would chime in and be like, well, she doesn't take anything lightly. But that's kind of how it is.
It was great.
But I love it. I love throwing a party.
And the people that you gather are so amazing. I've met so many fabulous people, but especially, and I hate to say it, no disrespect to the man, but especially the women who are especially fantastic.
Yeah,
I would say that.
And you know what's amazing about that party was So many people were drinking the NA
So
stuff.
funny, right?
Yeah.
I know that NA stuff was
Because
flying
I
off
had
the
a whole
shelf.
bunch. I had a whole bunch of options.
Right.
And yeah, thank you.
That was
Thank you.
great.
I love a good party. I love a good party. But we started it at 5 o'clock and everybody was gone at 9.
Oh my God, that's just exactly the kind of party I like.
So perfect.
Everybody,
On these dark days in the winter.
or even in the light days in the summer, I'm like, it's 9 o'clock. Like, don't you have to be somewhere? Don't you remember? Or you weren't in Americas when you were a kid, but in that shows like how we were raised in our generation, right? There was this commercial that would say, "It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children
that
are?"
was still going in the 2000s when I moved here.
Was it?
Yes.
I don't have
It's
kids.
10 o'clock.
I don't
Do
pay
you know where your kids are?
That's so fun. Now, like everybody knows where the kid is. It's like 4:30, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, also if you live in Vermont and it's dark at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, that's right. You better know where the fuck your kid is.
4. Yeah, hilarious. All right, so Q&A time.
Yes.
I kind of love this because actually at that party I had got a whole bunch of questions and that's what led me to say, okay, we've also had lots of people write in and DM us on our Happy AF podcast Instagram and Facebook and on our website. You can send us messages too. And there are a lot, people have a lot of different questions. And I don't know, we'll get through all of the questions.
I can't imagine.
No, but we can certainly give it a try. And what I love about this is our video editor, Michael, shout out Michael, because he'll be editing this. He's been working on thousands of podcasts for the last decade and a half. And he said it's so rare that we're getting reaction, we're getting interaction, we're getting engagement from people after just a few episodes.
Yeah, I think like we were sharing that on my way here, I think this whole alcohol-free alcohol subject is resonating more than I realized. And I had kind of an aha moment on my way here. I'm so behind technology, but you made me discover Rich Roll, which has been around since 2014.
Yeah. He's amazing.
2025, anywho. And I was listening to an episode he had with Andy Ramage, who's one of the co-founder of One Year No Beer.
1 Year No Beer, yep.
And I think the reason why our podcast, along with other podcasts, are resonating, and he phrased it perfectly. He was like, so many people, he calls it, are in the middle lane. I call it the gray area drinking, what you and I were, and a lot of us are. And he was like, the problem is that all those people are blindly doing it to themselves, not realizing that they're actually causing a lot of damage, even with that 2 glasses of wine a week. And it's okay if you're going to do it, but at least know what you're doing. So for instance, it's like cigarettes. In the 70s, we smoked, not thinking about it. Now, if you choose to smoke a cigarette here and there, you know what you're doing. And that's okay. Then you choose it. But he was saying currently, most of us in the middle lane are doing it completely blind. And I think that's why all of this is resonating with a lot of people. We're waking up to the fact that we drank the Kool-Aid, being told that it's good for us in moderation.
100%. And it's information. We live in the information age, and lots of information is not shared with us. Though, you know, that's a big part of it. And actually, this is a really amazing segue into this first question that I have written down here, which was, did you quit drinking because you had to or because you wanted to? And actually, that is a question that it was really nice for somebody to put words to it, because that's what people are fucking thinking all the time, but are scared to ask you. So here to tell the truth, you go.
So I think a little bit of both. I didn't have to, because nothing horrible happened to me, and my job was not in jeopardy. My relationship was not in jeopardy. My relationship with friends was not in jeopardy. Nothing was bad. I didn't drink and drive because I lived in New York. But as an intelligent person, like most of us are, when you're up to 1.5 bottles a day, you'd have to put your head in the sand to not think, wait a minute, that's kind of a lot, right? And just like you, I picked up a book to moderate, not to quit. It was not in my intention to quit at all. It was not on my radar. I always said, I know one day I'll have to. But I was like, that one day is going to be like in a really long time from now. And once I read that book, and like that Andy Ramage was saying, once I knew the kind of risk I was taking.
The genie back in the bottle, right? You can't unknow the information.
I didn't even want to try to drink one drink a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, now I don't even want to have a cigarette once in a while.
Yes.
Even if I knew that I wouldn't smoke every day. I'm like, why would I put that shit in my lungs? So that's how I felt about alcohol. So once I knew, then I felt as though I had to quit and I wanted to quit. How about you?
Yeah. I was so very, very similar. I mean, yeah. And of course, it was a choice for me. Same thing. My life wasn't art. You know, now I think about it differently because I was just about to say my life wasn't on the line. I wasn't in rehab. I hadn't, you know, jeopardized any part of my life, really. So for me, it was definitely a choice. And same thing, I went into the 75 hard saying, I'm not going to drink for 75 days. And then I did 75 hard again. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to drink for 150 days. So I didn't go into any of this saying, I am quitting alcohol for good. I was thinking I'm giving myself a nice break. And what happened to me was the feeling of being so good. I then chose to not drink ever again. Now, over a year in, I think I did have to. I just didn't know.
I didn't know to. But let me ask you, when in your quitting did you read? Because you said, like me, it's the Annie Grace book that did it for you.
Yes.
So did you do it before your 75, in the middle of the both 75, after your 75 strong? When did you read that book?
Oh, so I read the Annie Grace book well before I even started my first 75 hard.
Okay, so you didn't quit right away.
To me to help me understand someone else in my life, and how they were dealing with addiction, and how I could benefit from learning a lot about what alcohol does to your brain and your body.
But you didn't quit right there and there after you read it.
But then it was eye-opening to me. And like you, I was like, you know, I've been thinking about cutting back. I've been thinking about how I need to moderate. Or for me, it was not really about moderation. For me, it was like, I can't be doing those binge drinking days. Because for me, it wasn't like, I wasn't a daily drinker at all. But when I would drink, I would just drink too much.
But everybody has a different pattern. It's the same.
So my pattern was that like 0, 0, 0, 0,
150.
Too much. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And that, like, you know, you think about a heart monitor. It's like it's da 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 da. So for me, I always had in the back of my head that I should definitely try to figure out. And now I look back and I think, wow, I tried to stop drinking too much the entire time I was drinking.
Of course, exactly
but
right.
when I was in it, I didn't realize, you know, banging my head against the wall and not realizing that once I started out on a night with cocktails and wine, there was no way I was ever reaching a point 99% of the time. I wasn't reaching a point where I was like, oh, you've had enough, Missy. Some other thing switched on in my brain that was like, this is amazing. You got to keep doing this until you're sick the next day.
So I think everybody, like, so what is universal is that, and that's where, like, it might sound preachy, but it's not like that Andy guy was saying. It's like, everybody has a brain. Everybody has a brain that functions on the same principles and mechanism to different levels, of different intensity, different quantities of neurotransmitter, whatever, but it's all the same bloody brain. And alcohol affects everybody's brains
the same way,
maybe differently in different areas, but in the same way. It is addictive. And all of us that drink on a regular basis are addicted and affected by it in some ways, right? And as long as you know it and you're cool with it, then fine. But what he's like trying to convey is that, like, don't fool yourself, right? Don't go ahead thinking it's good for you.
Do it with your eyes wide open.
Exactly.
And I think that's a really important message. And I love that what you said at what he had said is another way of what you and I have mentioned a couple of times, which is the spectrum of, you know, the aunt who has one glass of wine a year and the relative who's been in and out of rehab their whole lives, and then all the other people in between. You know, it's that there's a lot of people in that space.
There's a lot of people in that space. And I suspect that there's a lot of us that are suffering anxiety or insomnia and things that are not super severe, but severe enough to bother your daily activities. Like in my case, heartburn was one of those things where it wasn't like sent to the hospital, but like was a real discomfort. And that was caused directly by alcohol.
Yes.
Right. Or exacerbated by
Yeah.
alcohol.
One of the things in that episode, that ritual episode, that Rory Fairbanks said, the other 1 year no beer guy, it's like, let's just be crystal clear. And Peter Attia has said this too. Alcohol is bad for every single cell in your body.
That's true. Right.
Every cell in your body will be negatively impacted by alcohol. So you just have to know that. And then choose what you want to do after that. But we've been misled for decades about it, centuries about the risk reward thing.
Right,
you know?
correct.
And then I think it's also about when you make the choice. I made the choice because I was like, oh shit, I feel so good and I want to feel this way forevermore.
And it's easier also than dabbling, for me anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So question number 2.
Yes. What was the hardest moment in the first 30 to 90 days? So the first month to 3 months. What was the hardest?
You guys see me?
Yeah.
Oh, so first of all, I'll be honest, like, listen, shout out to Annie Grace. And I sound like I'm a super fan. I'm not the kind of person that fans about anybody, right? Because I'm way too self-absorbed. So, but I got to say...
You're like, I'm the recipient.
I'm like, I can't love anybody more than I love myself. No, I'm joking. That's not true. But like, after I read that book, it wasn't that hard. It was way easier than what I thought. I mean, quitting smoking was far harder than quitting booze. And I was like, this is going to suck. But it didn't that much. It really didn't. But if I have to pick the harder parts, would be the first couple of weeks. I was like a heroin addict. I just wanted to sleep. I wanted to sleep all the time. And then I started researching that, and it's a side effect for a lot of people.
Okay.
I wasn't exhausted. I wasn't tired. I was sleepy. I could have put my PJ, and once I did, at 6 o'clock at night in the middle of July, and I went to bed at the hotel in New York, and I slept till 6 the next day. I was like Sid and Nancy.
Your body was just recalibrating.
And that's what it said. Like, it said your body recalibrates, and something about your sleep, and also your body's healing, and it takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So I remember being like, there was a thing on TV where they were like, and there's this sleep study. So the patients have to go in this clinic, and they put like white noise, and they have to sleep here. And I was like, oh, this lucky bastard. Like, I just wanted to go to a sleep clinic with the white noise and no window and just sleep it out for like 2 weeks.
Sleep it out.
So that was like not hard, but funky. Also, like, if I had nothing to do.
Right. It's like doing something with your hands.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, and a lot of the things that was hard at first, once I found NA products, went away.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'd be like, oh shit, cooking.
Yeah.
Fuck. But then once I found out, that went away. Or I'd be like, okay, so the thought of traveling internationally is still sometimes, it gives me a little, because I still have these
things that are so closely associated
they're so
with
associated,
when you
and they're falsely, like, it's not the booze didn't make the travels fun. Sitting in the cafe was fun, whether I had a glass of wine or not. And I did it in Paris, and I had just as much fun and stuff, but my brain is still thinking, oh, I'm going to Austria and Vienna. I'll sit there. Fuck, what am I going to do when I sit there?
Yes.
And I have to kind of like, wait, you've done this a million times, and it's great. Like, relax. So that sort of thing.
Interesting.
How about you?
That's similar, actually, because I don't want to make light of it, because it is a hard thing to do. And people keep telling me this all the time. They're like, God, I don't think I could do it. Like, what you're doing is amazing.
Thinking about it is harder than doing it.
I didn't find it that difficult. But there were definitely moments that stopped me in my tracks.
Like?
Where I was like, oh shit. Every year we go to this amazing place for spring break in Turks and Caicos. And it's like what you said about international travel. It was so ingrained in my brain that was party time, alcohol time. Now, it's a family vacation, so it wasn't like partying
Doesn't
all night
matter.
long.
You would drink
But
all the
when you
time.
arrive at the resort,
They give you a
they
cocktail.
give you a rum punch.
Right.
And then, no matter what you are doing throughout the day for the next week,
You have a cocktail in
somebody
your
is
hand.
walking around giving you a damn rum punch. And it would be the only time in the year I would drink rum punch because I would never usually allow myself the juice calories that go in a freaking rum punch.
Right.
And so that week was always all bets are off.
So what did you do? What did you do to compensate?
Well, when they would give me a rum punch, they would give the kids a virgin version. So I took that. But I remember, and also it's an all-inclusive resort.
Right.
So that was the other thing. It's like alcohol is just every single place. You check into your room, you have filled out all the alcohol you would like to have in your room.
Right.
5 different kinds of spirits, for the fridge full of red, white wine, sparkling wine, beer.
Right.
So that for me, it was like a moment where I was
it's
like,
a huge
oh
trigger.
God. I'm like, this is crazy. And then you think about why you spell, we talked about this on the last episode. This kind of annoys me that you pay for all-inclusive things.
And you're like, I'm getting
and
ripped
you're not
off.
drinking. I'm like, for fuck's sake, I'm not drinking any of the alcohol in this resort. But, it allowed me to really sit in the discomfort.
Oh my God, you're so right about that.
Yes.
You're so right.
I sat in it.
When I drank, I could not sit in any discomfort.
Yeah.
I could not. I would reach out for anything to drink. Yeah. I would not sit in discomfort. I used to call myself an hedonist because I was like, I only like pleasure. I don't deal with anything not good. Right?
Yes,
that's how I fucking went about life. And when I quit drinking, I couldn't do it. And then all these neurological books are like, your brain is adjusting and be patient with yourself. So I'm like, fuck, I guess that's my only option. And a lot of my friends were like, smoke weed. I was like, great, yes, let's have another problem.
Yeah,
so no, I did not pick up weed. So you're right. I learned how to sit with the discomfort. And then you learn that it doesn't last very long. It goes away.
It goes away.
And it's okay.
This too shall pass.
Yes.
And again, like I remember 2 or 3 days into that first ever spring break, alcohol free. I was like, oh shit, look what I've been missing out on all these years. Getting up and watching every single sunrise.
Yes, and not feeling like shit.
Tennis, playing, and like not even, once I just sat with it and just thought, this is it. Okay, you're gonna have to break the feeling of wanting the one thing that resort didn't do very well, and I'm hoping they will rectify, is that, the only NA options were virgin versions of the super sweet cocktails.
That gets old.
So that got old really fast. Oh, maybe, I have to ask Andrew, I don't remember. I think I might have brought an NA bottle of spirits.
I hope you did, because I'll tell you that changes. Like
in my suitcase.
When I went to Paris,
right, you brought stuff. No,
when I went to Paris, I did I? Yeah, I can't remember. No, but I found some. Oh, so when I went to Paris, that's right. First, so I brought stuff on my last trip. Where did I go last? Oh, Spain. I brought a bunch of shit when I went to Spain.
You brought it with you to Spain,
but
though,
right? In Paris, I was like, this is almost shocking even for me to say, but I was like, oh, maybe I'm going to look like a real drunk if I bring my shit. Now I don't know why I care. That one moment of normal human being acting. Usually I don't give 2 fucks. So I brought just a few cans of non-alcoholic wines, right? But I didn't want to bring cans in restaurants because that looks like yuck.
Yeah.
So I remember one night feeling cranky. And I realized I was cranky at dinner because I didn't have anything to drink. No, I was already 8 months sober. So the next day I went to the liquor store and they had non-alcoholic wines. They weren't as good as my stuff, but it did the job. And after that, the rest of the holiday was pleasant.
Right.
So it's all in your head.
Well, it's a plan.
It's a plan.
Right. It's having a plan. And it's funny that you mentioned Paris, because that was the other time where I felt real discomfort, and it was an international flight. And I was
that's
like,
hard.
All right. But it was fine once I sat there and I was like, and going on the plane, I was like, I'm not drinking. What is it going to be like? And I was like, they're coming around and they're offering you drinks. And I was like, no. So I was a red eye, I went to sleep. And then I had thought about, what is it going to be like in Paris without wine and champagne. And sure enough, I went to family friend's house and I brought my own
Smart.
bottle of
Yep.
NA. And these are people I love with all my
Right.
heart. But the reaction of French people to you not drinking, they were like, oh, wait, what is this? There is no
Right.
alcohol in this? Okay, is this for the kids? I'm like, and me?
That's the thing. So I will say, like, nobody's going to be shocked about that. In Paris, it was a bit more like wonky because they're Parisian. And I don't think any Parisians are shocked. Parisians say Parisians are assholes. So I know I'm not hurting feelings. But outside of Paris, I went to Ile de Ré, I went to La Loire. We brought up my own AF stuff, and they would ask me, I would ask permission, not to be a prick. And the restaurateurs everywhere was like, can I taste it? I might add it to my menu. I can't find anything good. How do you buy it? I buy it online, blah, blah. They were really, really cool about it. But to go back to your island trip, one of the things, like, you know, when you drink on those holidays, like for a second, you might feel like you're missing out when you're not drinking. But remember, like the next day you wake up bloated and you're like, fuck, now I have to go hit the gym. I don't know if but I used to go hit the gym to sweat it out and feel a little better when I really didn't want to go to the gym. Like you're wasting an hour at the gym just because you're trying to feel normal again. I mean, at least you didn't have that. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, none of that. And in fact, I play tennis every day. And
the thinking of it, I think, is harder than the doing it.
What, thinking about not drinking?
Correct.
Yeah.
That part is hard.
Well,
but doing is not.
That's a big part of the freedom that comes along with it, is to just stop thinking about it.
Correct.
But I do want to give a shout out. I wish I could remember the name of the hotel that I stayed in the left bank. Is Saint-Germain-des-Prés. And I looked at the room service menu, and they had French Bloom.
What?
Yeah.
In a hotel?
Yep.
That's great.
So before I would go out to dinner,
oh my God, you have to tell me where that is.
Yeah, I have to look it up. Very famously, Oscar Wilde had stayed there often back in...
Oh shit, I think I know. Is it sur la rue de la Seine?
No.
Anywho, we'll find it. Yeah.
But anyway, so not, you know, and there were plenty of places. I love... Let's again talk about how much of a Francophile I am. I just love the way the French non-alcoholic drinks were labeled. So my favorite one was alcool or cocktail sans risque.
I love that.
Cocktails without risk. I'm like I was like, okay, I want that. That's just amazing.
That's great.
Yeah. And then there was another one that was like alcohol liberated.
Right. That's what I like. Alcohol without, like, cocktail without risk. Like, I'm such an ass. I'd probably be like, I don't want that. That's no fun. I want the one with risk. No, but the liberated one I want.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But without risk of being...
I understand. I'm being like, I'm joking.
No, I love it.
Joking.
I love it. Okay. Let's see. How did going alcohol-free change your friendships? Did some people stay, drift? Anybody surprise you?
You know, I haven't had drifters, and I've had some recalibration, mainly on my end, and I've had really great surprises, one of which I need to shout out is my friend Lisa, who...
I thought you were going to say me. Fuck off.
Oh, fuck. But you're a new, so, wait. So
I'm literally sitting there like a little girl going, she's going to say me, right?
No, but you're surprised because I met you as a surprise. But someone has surprised me. So Lisa is a badass who takes no prisoner. A friend of mine I met when I was 26 in the days of 1-800 roommate finders. Remember those days?
I do not.
Okay, so in New York in the 90s.
Like a murder waiting to happen.
No, you have no idea. In the 90s in New York, if you needed a roommate, which most of us did, and the internet was, you plugged in the wall, is very wonky. So you would pay like $20 or $30. I can't remember. It was called 1-800 roommate finders or 1-800 roommates. And you get a printout list of a bunch of people looking for roommates with phone numbers. And this was like a race. It was like the survivors. You ran to the first pay phone with a bunch of coins and started calling, because you'd show up and there'd be a line of people. And so I found this place in East Village, and we were 3 women, and Lisa was one of the 3, and we stayed friends. And the reason she was one of my surprise, in the sense, obviously it's not so surprise, we're still friends, but she still drinks. She's sober curious, right? She'll get off the bus and not drink for 6 months, like whatever amount, and then dabble again and then go out. It's not a huge issue for her. But she's listening to our podcast. She's always commenting on it. And I didn't tell her about it. She found out about it. And she's always really supportive of the fact that I quit drinking. And one of the things that I will say is, women have this bad rap of being catty with each other. And I was thinking about that on my way in. And I got very few negative reaction, but they were all from men.
Oh,
None
interesting.
of them were from women. All the women I know that either drink or don't, didn't matter what their situation was, were all extremely supportive. Like, for instance, when I threw my sister's bachelorette party, or the batshit party, as we like to call it here,
party.
9 days sober, all her friends, I was really afraid that they'd be like, fuck. Now Isabel's sober, it's only 9 days. This is going to suck, right?
Yeah.
They were so fucking cool.
Oh,
like,
good.
they toasted me. They're like, dude, you're a boss. Like, it was like having a bunch of cheerleaders. They were like magic godmothers.
Amazing.
Right? They were so sweet about it. Like, they went over the Call of Duty to make me feel good. And I was like, fuck, these women are amazing. And everywhere I went, women were like that. Men, no, not so much. I got a lot of threats from men, kind of like, well, we'll see how long that lasts, or...
Say that again?
Like, we'll see how long that will last.
See how long it lasts.
Or kind of like, oh, you'll see, that'll pass. Like, a lot of like cheap shots.
Well, and listen, a lot of that comes from...
Well, they're all drinkers.
You want to be like, that comment's more about you than it is about me.
Well, that's the thing. Okay. That speaks volume of women. I think women are much more self-aware about themselves. Therefore, they don't feel threatened by what it is you do in your life. Whereas men have much less, sorry, Andrew, self-awareness. Sorry, buddy. I mean, you're behind a window. I'm hoping it's bulletproof, but... you know what I mean? They have a little bit less self-awareness, so it's threatening if you're doing something that they feel they should really look into.
Yeah.
So these were my surprises, and obviously the recalibration with, people that you really love, that you have a history of drinking with. Like, they didn't do anything, but you're wondering, like, how am I gonna? Are they still gonna like me?
Yes.
Are they still gonna want to hang out with me? What if she doesn't think I'm fun anymore? Like, you get that, and then you kind of have to walk your way out of it, because you can't ask them to make you feel good about it, right? So you just have to yourself be like, hopefully she loves me enough, and hopefully I'm still fun, and and kind of man through it. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think it's a real litmus test,
right,
of relationships, of friendships. And this is a combination question, because there was another question that said it was about friendships, but the person, I think it was a woman, said, I'm nervous about how my friends are going to react. And a big part of how I ended up doing 75 Hard the second time was how my friends were reacting.
How were they reacting?
They were saying, oh, can't fucking wait for this 75 Hard to be over so you can start drinking again.
Wow.
And that pressure of, again, it wasn't, I'm not blaming anyone else.
But, of course not.
Those comments made me really nervous and made me start to think, wow, people want me to drink. Why do they want me to drink? Do they think I'm not going to be fun if I don't drink?
Right.
And a lot of these people, who are in my life now, didn't know me when I was 18, living in Ireland as a non-drinker, until I was 20 years old. So, so that what other people think of you not drinking is definitely a part of everyone's journey when they're sober curious, or when they've decided to quit altogether. Of that. Everybody thinks about it.
Correct.
And I thankfully have now reached a point where I'm like, I don't give a royal fuck what you think about whether or not I drink.
But did you lose any friends? Like, did you
I wouldn't say I lost friends,
not lost,
but there's definitely people. I mean, I also have to say, when you get to this point in your life, I think we've filtered out a lot of people already who you're just no longer on the same path.
Correct.
I was just telling my kids about this, because I have teenagers who are going through, oh, that person doesn't hang out with us anymore, and this person's been mean, and that, da-da-da-da. And I say, you have just like Taylor Swift, there are eras of friends.
Mm-hmm.
There's an era of friends in college. There's another era of friends when you're in your 20s and your 30s. And a lot of those people are in your life for that period of time. And they don't necessarily are going to walk the same path as you when you come out of that phase of your life. So I feel like now at this phase of my life, a lot of the people that are in it who are close to me, we kind of think about life the same.
Right.
But definitely there were friends, I think recalibration.
Recalibration.
Loss, there's definitely been a recalibration with friends for whom our relationship was rooted in excessive drinking.
Right.
Because now I'm the person that doesn't drink anymore. And I think a lot of those people were like, how the fuck do we hang out with her
So
now?
how do you hang out now with them?
With some people, a lot less.
Right.
And I'm okay with that because, you know, it's
because it was based on an activity that you no longer do. It's like if you were playing tennis with someone that you have nothing in common and you play a lot of tennis with them, you wreck your knee, you no longer play tennis, and you guys don't have anything else in common.
Exactly.
You might not see them anymore.
Exactly.
And it's okay.
So that kind of shifted things. And it definitely, you know, there were moments where I was like, oh, wow, that person doesn't call me anymore. Much like you being uninvited to the fucking wine dinner, right? It's like, oh my God, wow, you only want me if I'm drinking?
Right.
That's weird. And also, by the way, I feel hurt by that. But the big makeup for those things that have kind of shifted in my social circle is the new people,
the awesome people,
or new friends,
right?
Who like, it's like if you met new tennis friends, it's
and also the old friends and the old friends that present you with a different part of themselves that you had no idea that accept you. The way you're now acting, they're cool with it.
Yes.
And they don't change their behavior because you've decided to make sense. And you're like, oh my God, my old friend, you're so fucking more awesome than I thought you were even to start with.
Yeah. And also just what we're doing is a good example, right? We're setting a good example because again, I'm not saying that everybody should not drink, far from it, but our mindfulness and our awareness, one of the books talked about this. It might have been Annie Grace. I feel like we should get like $100 check every time we say Annie Grace.
Oh my God, she's getting a new book coming out on the 31st or 30th.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
But I think it was in her book that talked about, or maybe it was Ruby Warrington, about that people who are looking at you, if these are people who are also questioning how much they drink, you are a mirror reflecting the thing that they are not doing. And you are doing this thing that they kind of think they should be doing. And so it's making them uncomfortable, and they don't, oh, here's a great fucking thing I heard the other day. You know, we live in a small town.
Yes.
And it never ceases to amaze me. You know, I have a reasonably well-known persona.
Yes,
I'm a singer,
you're
I'm
like,
an actor,
you're very known here.
Know, and I've got flaming red hair. You can see me from a mile away. So things get back to you all the time. And someone had said, oh yeah, she quit drinking and she won't fucking stop talking about it now.
What? Where? I'm going to go fuck him up. Who is it?
And you know what I said? I was like, damn right I won't stop talking about it because I feel so good. And guess what? I also launched a podcast.
And not only that, like, by the way, we're in an era that you don't like to listen to it. Guess how you turn it off?
Don't
and
listen.
I would like to say, do you remember? I remember when I was drinking, and maybe unlike a lot of drinkers, I knew I was drinking too much, and I knew that one day I'd have to do something about it. And I remember that when there were people in my life that would quit, I'd be like, I'm so jealous. How do you do it? Like, I will say, now, thankfully, when I think about it, I'm like, thank God I wasn't an asshole. I was like really sweet about it. But I was not jealous. I was envious. I'm like, I don't know how you do it. I wish I could do it. I can do it. Oh my God. I'm thinking of one aunt did that. A good friend of mine did that. Like, she quit for 8 months. And I remember, and then she went back. And that was always the plan. But I remember I was like, man, I can't even think of 2 days. Like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, I remember it used to impress me.
Yes.
Right?
Me too.
I was like, this is impressive. So if someone...
to think about you and I both being people who said, oh God, I could never. And I hear so many people now say this to me. They're like, I am amazed. I could never, ever do that. And I'm like, if I can do it, you can do it.
And by the way, the person who said that you always talk about it, I'd like to say something like, is this a man or a woman?
Is a woman.
Okay, easier to fuck her up. but I would like to say that, if you've had friends that got their boobs done or their butt done, and what do they talk about for the next 3 months after that? Their bloody boobs or their bloody butt, okay? Or their bloody, if they got their eyes done, that's all you hear about. You know what? That's all you hear about. And what do we do as good friends? We take it. We get it. It's the new toy. You want to talk about it all the time. You want to show it off all the time. So if that person is not mature enough to understand that, she can go kiss my ass. All right, move on. Next question.
Isabel,
Shit.
you're the Cynthia Erivo to my Ariana Grande right now.
I don't want to be her. She annoys me.
No. Oh my gosh. No, I just mean the defensiveness. Okay. Let's not offend the Cynthia Erivo fans out there.
I know it's fine. It's just you guys are overexposed.
Okay, here we go. No joke, right?
Oh my God.
What do social situations look like now that are different? That is another thing that both people have written in about, and also friends of mine have said, how are you doing it? Like, I told this story recently, like someone was sitting at a dinner party and they were like, how are you fucking doing this? How are you sitting here when we are all drinking amazing wine from your wine cellar and you are not drinking?
So how are you doing it?
I don't want it.
That's it. That's as simple as that.
That is how I'm doing it. So I don't want to. That's the best thing, and it's what makes it easy. But I have a plan. I always have a plan going into a situation. I met a lady who was who works in events, and she was like, oh my God, I remember you coming to a party last summer and you brought your own non-alcoholic champagne.
I always do.
And I was like, yeah. And she remembered me doing it. And she was like, I remember you came in and you gave it to me. And I said, oh, great. And she's like, then other people started asking for it. So having a plan, and I just think it's becoming less of a big deal.
Look, with time going, it's not a thing. You don't think about it as much. I mean, I don't think about it as much, but I do like to have my non-alcoholic something. Yes. But if I have my non-alcoholic something, I can honestly say it's not even a thought. Yeah. Excuse me. It's not even a thought. I don't even think about it. Yeah. Like, it doesn't even cross my mind. And so that people don't think that it's always hard. Like, it's like at the beginning, of course, it's much more of a commitment, but it's kind of like if you decide to lose 20 pounds, like the time you're doing your diet and working out all the time, that's the hard part, because you get to the 20 pounds and hopefully by then you've changed your habits and then you don't want to eat McDonald's for breakfast, right? Yeah. Or it's like if you're someone like me, for instance, I don't believe in processed food. That's my thing. To me, it's like chemicals. If you could see it like you could see shit, you wouldn't eat it. That's my belief, right? Yeah. So if I go to a party and all they have is, sorry, McDonald's, but something like McDonald's, I'm not even tempted. I don't want it. Right. I just don't. I'm just not going to eat, and I'm going to wait until I go home to eat something decent, right? Yeah. So that's how I feel about alcohol. I just don't want it anymore.
Yeah. And I think also for people who are doing it for the first time, it's, that whole first year of not drinking. I was talking to a friend of mine who's been alcohol-free for years now, and she said that first year of firsts, right? Your first birthday party, your first gala, your first, all of these things, it's massively different than before. Right. And I was telling the story about the friend who was going to a sports gala and was like, I don't know what to do. And I remember being at various different ones of those, when you're sitting at a table and the catering staff are coming around and they're just like, red or white. And you're like, neither one of those, thank you. Right. It's, so there's definitely moments like that where you're still practicing. And, we had people for dinner a couple of months ago, and they turned up with like all different kinds of drinks, beer and wine. And they had asked, can we bring anything? And I said, no, absolutely not. I've got everything planned. And, people are very polite and they want to bring a hostess gift or whatever. But when they arrived and they had so many different things, I'm like, oh my God, you brought so much stuff. And she was like, well, because you don't drink anymore, I didn't know what was going to be here. I'm like, have you seen my fridge and my wine cellar? Like,
but listen, I can't judge them because I would have done the same thing. I would have been let's say we were having, I remember we'd go to my mother-in-law's for Christmas, Brooks and I, and we often are the ones, like people would bring one bottle of wine and I would arrive with a case. I mean, it's not even a joke.
No, I don't.
And Brooks would leave it in the car because he was like, it's embarrassing. So we would leave it in the car so it doesn't look like we're arriving with a case. And we'd take a couple of bottles at a time because I was so afraid
that they would run out.
That we would run out. So afraid.
But so we had to have a reputation of like, you're never gonna run out of wine.
But you're probably afraid that you vacuum the wine out of your house.
Thought, wow, she just cleaned her wines that are purged. I don't know, hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of bottles of wine. No, that is the big thing for me is going in with a plan. The other part of that was a work event. I mean, you were saying you don't really have a lot of work events.
No, not that much. And I will say, like on the social thing, like again, eventually you don't even think about it. But the one thing that brings it home though, is I've noticed that as the evening goes on and if people get slushed, there's a part, like sometimes people are
like,
funny.
I don't want to be a part of this anymore.
But there's a time where like it's the same jokes and it's not that funny. Right? Like at first when they're just a little slush is funny because I can be drunk without being drunk. I can tap into that, no problem.
Right.
But I can no longer tap into dumb drunk, right?
Yeah.
So dumb drunk's dead.
You don't have a tolerance for it
and that's
anymore.
a part you'll notice. You're like not interested. You lose interest. You don't feel left out. You're just like, just not that fun.
Yeah,
like,
but I think that is something that people thinking about this are worried about. They're like, am I not going to have fun? Like, is everybody else going to be having fun and I'm not having fun? And I have no experience with that. Like it's exactly what you said. It's not like I'm not having fun.
No.
I mean, you saw me at our party recently. You know, it's like, and
you've had enough. That's it.
But when you get to a point where you're like, okay, that's or your tolerance level for certain things is lower, and that's not something to be afraid of. That's like just be like, okay, I'm okay with that.
That's it.
It's
in the past, I would have reached out for more booze to
numb it. Yeah, and to be like, okay, now
and my sister will verify this. I've always been the first one to leave the party, right? I'm always the first one that's like, I gotta go.
And I was always the last one.
I'm always the first one when even I was drinking, right? But like the difference is when I was drinking, I was able to delay it a little bit more past my point of comfort by numbing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it can't imagine. It's like a car, right? If you always run it in the red, shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So to put yourself in a situation where you're past your point of comfort is never a good idea if you do that over and over. And that's when bad things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's when you're gonna say something you shouldn't have said, or you know what I'm saying, or you're gonna get cranky to someone or whatever.
Yeah.
You're better off going home.
Yeah.
So now at least I know where my limit is and I take myself out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no, I love that. Agreed. Okay. Did going alcohol-free affect your relationship, marriage, intimacy?
I was like, I asked that to Brooks before I left, and he's like, no. And I was like, come on, tell me the truth. I'm not going to hurt you. He's like, no. And I was like, come on, man. I'm not like, tell me. Like, if I beat him, he might enjoy it. So I was like, I'm not going to beat you. And he's like, no, it hasn't changed. I was like, I know you find me more boring. He's like, no, I don't. I was like, you find me more boring. I was like, you miss going to bars with me. You miss because that's how we both work from home. And sometimes it's like, it's 3 o'clock and you're like, fuck, man, I'm done with this. This is a bad day. Let's go for a drink.
Yes.
I was like, I know you missed that. And he's like, no. no, like it doesn't, to be honest with you.
What about for you, from your perspective?
I can't. So for his perspective, he says no, but Brooks he's afraid of me, so he's never going to say the truth. And and I don't think it has changed. No, I think I was afraid it would. I was afraid that he'd be like, oh God, now she's not going to be so much fun, but he would never admit it. But I mean, not only is he an exceptionally nice, charming human being.
Yes, he is.
So that's something. And he remained charming, exceptional human being through my alcohol-free. And talk about breaking his ears on the subject. I forced him to read Annie Grace. I forced him. It's like, you need to read it. I don't want to. You have to read it. I don't want to. So it was going to be my birthday. He's like, what do you want for your birthday? I want you to read Annie Grace. Fuck. All right. So he read it. Right. So I was like, I just want you to know what I read.
Right.
I just want you to know what I'm going
information
through.
I have. I want you to have it too.
And like anything shiny and new, obviously, and he was the only person and my mom that I felt comfortable to like chew their ears about it because I didn't want to be the annoying alcohol-free friend.
Yes.
So I didn't want to talk be annoying to the other people.
Yeah. Until you found me.
Yeah. And then I was like, let's chew. But other than that, I can't say, it was good before, it's good now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because my husband's like over there. So, Andrew, you want to come be on the podcast?
He's like, no, come back, Andrew. No, it's okay, buddy. We're just joking.
He would hate it. I would say, truthfully, I mean, from Andrew's perspective, I mean, I know this, is that it was uncharted territory. I mean, we met and bonded over wine.
Same. That's true. You're pointing out something real. Yeah.
It was a big part of our relationship from the day we met. Oh, well, not from the day we met, because remember I told you we met during Lent, so we weren't drinking. I wasn't drinking alcohol for the first, 30 days of our relationship. But so I know for him, when I said I'm done forever.
What did he say?
He was, like Brooks, incredibly kind, respectful, supportive human being, but also has absolutely no poker face, right?
So he didn't really believe you,
Andrew,
right?
No. It was, there was definite disappointment.
Shock?
There's no question, because
you're bringing a good point.
Amazing. We've been on wine tours. We have collected bottles together that we talked about when Rebecca graduates college. We're going to drink this. We're going to. So there was. I'm not saying this with any disappointment or blame. But I know that he was like, oh, that's
really
great. But I know that his inner, like, he can't lie to me either. I'm like, it's like I have a radar. I joke with my kids that I have a mom radar, but I have a lying radar, because I'm able to read your eyes. I'm able to read your body language. I'm really able to discern when someone is not telling me the truth. And Andrew just happens to be really easy. And I'm like, and I didn't want to give him a hard time about it, because I was like, this is a big change for him. Right. It's like, how is this? We go out for dinner and we pour over a wine list for like 10, 20 minutes, and then we'll be like, no, what do you think of that one? Oh, but if we're gonna get that one, and then I'm like, oh, that's a little bit too pricey. Like, it's a big part of our social life, our everything that we've done together. So I know it was a big change for him. I hate answering for him when he's literally on the other side of the glass. But now, actually, at the end of this, I want to ask him, and we'll follow up next week, now what he thinks about it, because I now think he thinks differently, because I think I have become a much better everything. Right. And so that includes wife, mother. And I wasn't a slouch before. I'm not saying that I was a bad wife or I was a bad mother, but I have improved in every role that I play in my life. I'm a better singer. I'm a better mother. I'm a better actor. I'm a better everything now. I know that I am. So I definitely think I'm a more tolerant, patient wife than I was before.
So Brooks said, but sometimes he said things just to be nice to me. He was like, well, you're more patient. But that's because I've said that, right?
Yes.
But he's like, you're calmer. But he's like, don't say that, because nobody's going to believe you. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, because he thinks that, he's like, if you think this is calm, he's like, nobody's going to believe you that you're calmer. And I was like, but I am calmer. He's like, I know, but he's like, nobody's going to fucking believe you.
But it's not even about calm. It's about,
less reactive.
It's less volatility.
Less like something happens. You're not like, well, by the way, before something happened, I'd be like, that's it. Close the phone, close the computer. Let's go have a drink. Fuck them all.
Yes.
Whereas now I'm like, well, you know what? Close the computer. I'm going for a walk, man. Fuck these guys. And no big deal. Move on. There's no rage. There's no.
And that's the thing. It's the volatility.
Yes.
When you take that out of life, you also take it out of all of the relationships that you have. Now, I'm also thinking about how if I could have my children here in this podcast to weigh in, because I am famous for as Gabriel will say, overreacting to things. Like, he will say, wow, that is a big reaction. So for example, when he won't wear a fucking coat and it's 0 degrees outside, and I'm like, what, are you crazy? You're going to get your freeze. You're going to get frostbite out there. And he'd be like, it's a very big reaction.
So does he feel you realize less big now?
I don't think I react any less in those situations. But I do think I handle adversity differently. I handle frustration differently.
Yes.
Because my patience level is so much better.
And you sleep better.
When all of the cupboard doors in the kitchen are open, I no longer walk around and slam them fucking
just
shut,
close them.
right? I'm just like, Jesus Christ, close the cupboards. But before I'd be like, leave it. Why would you do it? Da-da. And if I hung over,
oh, forget it.
Forget it.
Oh my God. But that's pain. That's like pain. It's like you're hungover, you're in pain, and then you had pain on it. You're like, I can't, not even.
Yeah.
No.
So that's how I would say it has impacted those which are the most, my husband and my 2 children, most important relationships in my life. The intimacy was tagged on to that question, which I think is funny.
Is that private time?
Is private time. Private time. Well, I told you that I've banned alcohol from private time. And there's another great female author that talks about, let's be honest, women, when's the last time you had complete sober sex? Like,
that is so funny.
It's not something we have done for most of our adult
because I was
lives.
drinking all the time. So I haven't done a lot of things sober.
Yeah, I was actually listening to another favorite podcast of mine, Call Her Daddy, and she was interviewing this actress who, again, just like, what am I getting fucking dementia? I can't remember shit anymore. Anyway, I didn't know who the actress was, and I had to look her up afterwards. And she was in and out of rehab and addiction. She was on a the Gossip Girl. She was on Gossip Girl.
I don't watch these things.
I don't watch these either, so I don't know.
But I know
who
the
it was.
name.
Anyway, she was amazing. The interview was amazing. But listening to these women talk about, even grown fucking women, not in your teenage years, but like that they were talking about how you would drink because you didn't really want to have sex, but you felt the pressure of having sex with your boyfriend because he was coming over on a Saturday.
Right, that's not happened to me.
And then drinking 2 or 3 drinks to be like, all right, I need to take the edge off.
Right.
And feel like I'm putting myself in the mood.
Right.
So women, I don't know. I'm only speaking as a woman. Maybe lots of men feel this too.
Right.
But I doubt it.
I think Brooks is probably needs a couple of drinks before having private times with me. He's like, that bitch crazy, man. But you're right. I wasn't having a couple of drinks to like put myself in the mood or anything. But I was always having a couple of drinks.
Right.
So there's not a lot.
But like when you think about how private time is portrayed in society.
Oh my God.
Right? It's like champagne, wine, da-da-da-da-da. So it's always been associated with sex. I mean, it just is.
Right. It just is.
It just is. From the very first time you have sex, you've probably had alcohol with it.
Absolutely.
Right? Even if you're 15 or you're back in the dating scene at 40.
It's like cigarettes and coffee.
Yeah, it kind of sex and alcohol. It goes together.
Yeah.
It's like, anyway. So the big thing that changed was having completely sober sex, which, the truth of the matter is also your senses, everything about you is more sensitive without alcohol.
Right.
So without, going down the Dr. Ruth sex path.
I thought you were going to tell me without going down. I was like, is that a kind of show? Fuck, dude.
You're like, I'm
shy.
Not want to talk about
Hey, Andrew, I can do the sound if you want to come over here.
He's left the building now. He's just left the soundboard running. He's like, I am
He's
fucking
like, no,
here.
they're not going down. Private times.
But it is interesting to think about that. And when you think about, I think often about young people coming into a world of, their world of sex and alcohol, and like how you separate those things. And it's really very doable to remove the alcohol from the coupling that it is with sex.
Yeah.
You can do it. It's and in fact, you might find it much more amazing.
So in essence, like, I've been lucky on the sex front that I've never had a hard time finding it interesting.
Right.
So that hasn't changed for me, but I was always having sex to a level of drunkenness because I was always drinking, right?
Yeah.
So that, and I will say, well, now I've been married for a long time, but had I not been married because of alcohol, I definitely did have sex with people that the next day I was like, oh fuck, right?
Oh
like,
yeah,
shit.
I'd be like,
What
that's
was that,
its own
right? So, and
podcast.
that was definitely, or like those regrettable times where you're riding on the subway. Like I'd be like, this happened to me like well into being married. I don't know why. Like you're thinking about, and then someone from your past pops up. You're like, oh fuck, that's right. I slept with this guy. Oh my god.
I mean, no,
and
that
you're like,
shit never leaves you.
oh, like you
Some
you
of
want to
those
vent
things
it
never leave you.
out. So
But I
that
feel like
alcohol made me do that.
We need to do an episode on sex and alcohol, but it has to be one where maybe we bring in another audio engineer.
Right, not a
and I
husband.
also tell my mother-in-law not to listen to that
I told
one.
Brooks he's not allowed to listen to the podcast, and he's not on social media, so it's easy.
So, oh wow, he's not listening to it at all.
Told him like he's forbidden.
Why?
Well, no, he's not forbidden. He listened to one the other day when we were in the car.
Okay. Did he like it?
I told him not to tell me.
Huh. Okay, I'm
I
gonna
better
ask
not
him.
know.
I'm going to
I
ask
think
him. He's not my husband. I'm gonna ask him the next time I see
he
him.
would probably think you talk too loud and you curse too much,
please.
and I don't want to hear
Listen,
it.
Brooks is not our fucking audience.
I know.
He's not our demographic.
I know.
Anyway, moving on. Do you ever miss it? And if so, what is it you actually miss? You know, the idea, yeah, interesting. Do you miss it?
Do you?
I don't miss it one fucking iota anymore. I'm not saying that it was always that way, but September, October, November, December. So now I'm 15, almost 16 months.
Yeah, we're just 2 weeks
free,
apart.
Right?
Yeah.
So, did I miss it along the way multiple times? I didn't miss the, I mean, there's definitely moments where I thought, you know, the good drunk. Do you remember the good drunk?
The first
little
one
bit
or
of
two
buzz?
drinks. Like, the good drunk.
Yeah. So I don't miss that anymore because I fully appreciate the cost that comes with that. You can't get that without all the other shit.
What you're talking about is the same with the heroin addict. You'll hear them say that, or coke addict. They say, I'm always chasing that first buzz.
Yeah.
And I can no longer get that, right?
Yeah.
Like those first couple of times, or they got high with that whatever drug, and that was like the perfect high. And as they progress into the addiction, that's what you're chasing.
Yeah.
And like that good drunk is like that once in a while where you're just coasting.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
and you've got the right level of whatever sensation it is in your body.
But you're still paying for it the next day.
Yeah. Well, and also it's Russian roulette because one more tip of the scale
could go
and
south.
It goes so far the other way. It's not worth it. So there were definitely I don't feel that anymore.
No, me neither.
Because I'm constantly fucking high on life now, that I don't miss that little buzz because I don't need it. Before I felt like I needed the buzz because I was like feeling stressed or anxious, and so much of that has gone away. I don't miss it. I did at the beginning also really miss the ritual, but now I have new rituals.
AF,
so I don't worry about that anymore. And then I have this incredible gift that's been given to me of that I now absolutely hate the taste of alcohol.
You said that. I'm not even gonna try because I think my type of addiction is like I could see my brains lighting up like a Christmas tree, because every time I've quit for 1 month and once 3 months and then I took a sip, it tasted funky, but my brain was like a fucking Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Right? So there's no way. But I agree with you. Like the first 6, 7 months, maybe, there are times I'm like, oh man, I missed that occasion or that occasion. Not enough to be like, I need a drink. It wasn't like that. But you're like, I have that little pinch of regret. But in this stage, not at all.
Yeah.
Never.
No,
it doesn't
me
even cross
either.
my mind.
I think at this point now I have broken all of those, neural pathways that are like connecting things to missing.
Right.
I don't feel like I'm missing out.
Same.
At all. In fact, I would say I've gone the other way where I'm like, wow, I have gained so much. I don't feel any FOMO. Like
I agree.
I really don't.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's the case. That's necessarily going to be the case for everybody. I mean,
plus everybody has a different timeline, right?
Yeah.
Some people might feel this way after 3 months. Other people might feel this way after 2 years, right? Everybody gets accustomed to new situations on different timelines.
Yeah. And also some of the books, the various different books that I've read, a couple of them have mentioned that there are times where you're like going, maybe for a year, and then you feel a missing.
Right.
You know, that piece comes back to haunt you a year or 8
I heard
months
that
or
too,
something.
yeah.
You know, where they call it the pink cloud effect,
Right.
where you're
Wears
in this
off.
honeymoon phase for a long time where everything is hunky-dory, and then all of a sudden that goes away and you wake up one day and you're depressed. Maybe I haven't reached my version of that, but
I think I hit, well, I wasn't depressed, but I think I did. I lived a pink cloud for sure because it's distinctive.
yeah.
And I think when I hit just close to 1 year into it, the bubble bust, but I didn't become depressed. I just got, I think, you know, the first year, it's like, man, I went through my first bachelorette party and I
Yes,
did
your
my
first
first
everything.
Christmas.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, and you get the high from the first, like, you've never done this before. This is all new. And now that's finished.
Right.
And you're
right.
like, then now what? And then that lasted just for a couple of weeks, but it wasn't even, depressed is not even, it's
not the
way
word.
too
No,
strong.
got it.
Just a little bit of a,
Oh, okay.
all right.
Yeah.
Like a little
Well,
flatness.
it's an acceptance
Right.
of this is life
This is
now.
life. So if
This is my life
I
now.
lived a little flatness,
Yeah.
punctuated with still
Yeah.
highs.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I guess that's what life is, right?
Yeah.
It's normal with little highs in it. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And then you get used to this normal amount of highs and it feels normal.
Right.
I think it was just, like you pointed it out once, my brain was used to the drama of the up and down of alcohol. Then you quit the first year, you still have these drama because everything is new. This, you're afraid of your first Christmas. Okay, you go through it. The next day, like, so that's a high and a low. Like,
Yes.
And then when this is finished, now you have
And
to get
everything
used
is a little more even keeled.
and normal.
One thing that I will say that I have done more of is replacing the thing that if you're feeling like I'm missing out
Yeah.
right now with something else. And I don't mean a non-alcoholic
No, so
drink.
what would you, like what?
I mean, like, you know what? Fuck it. I am going to watch 3 episodes of Ted Lasso
for
and eat
sure.
ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
And that, like, that's your treat
Or
to
I'm getting a
yourself.
massage
Or
for
I'm
2
going out and
hours.
walking, or I'm
Yeah.
doing whatever the hell I want
Yeah.
that is so good for me, that is giving me this special feeling
Right.
that I used to think I needed to get from a, day drinking a bottle of Pinot
Right.
Noir. And that has become a big part of my thinking now, is
You're right.
being good to myself.
You're right. I do that too.
Is saying, you know what? You deserve this.
That's it.
And it goes along with what I talked about in the last episode, which I know everybody's going to be laughing so hard about. But like looking in the mirror and going, you're fucking awesome.
Well, by the way, if you don't do it for yourself, nobody else
Yeah.
will. By the way, like one of our neighbor, Mel, who's pretty famous, said, I've heard her, I never listened to her podcast just because I didn't know, but I heard her on Smartless. She was very good. And she said something that made a lot of sense. She goes, nobody's coming.
Yeah.
Like nobody's coming. So,
There's no cavalry.
Yeah, right. So you
like
get off the pot, buddy. So
Yeah.
if you want something for yourself, you have to do
Just
it because
do
they
it.
ain't coming.
Just
And I was
do
like,
it.
fuck, she's so right. Nobody's coming, right?
Yeah.
So you
But
just do
also,
it.
we live in a world, you and I do, and many of our friends do, where we're so privileged we can go do what we want to do.
Correct. So I might as
Get
well
what you
enjoy
wanna
it
get.
and do
so
it.
just do it.
Right.
And if there's a day where you want to say, fuck it, I'm going for a massage, fuck it, I'm going to just watch television and eat ice cream, then do it.
That's
right?
it.
Like that's
That's
just
it.
these are the little gifts to yourself
Yeah.
that are also not the gifts that are going to kill you and make you sick.
Correct.
So here's the thing. We totally do not have time to get through all these goddamn
Wow.
questions. So we'll do more because, I love this because I think I love answering people's questions because I keep going back to the question, why are we doing this?
Right.
And we're doing it because we want people to, well, first of all, laugh at our ridiculousness, which exists in
In our heads, anyway.
extraordinary quantities on these shows, but also to just keep talking about this so that it becomes more acceptable and normal.
And
to be awesome, badass, funny,
Right.
and not
and
drink.
it ties
and it
in
happens.
your last question that says like, so if someone is sober curious and they're scared, well, it's crazy when you think about it that we're all scared of quitting alcohol. You wouldn't be scared of quitting chocolate. So why are we scared of, because the marketing and the world has told you that if you don't have this, you're not cool, you're not hot, you're not sexy, you're not fun. And who fucking told us that? A goddamn lobbying machine that's making billions of dollars on our livers and stomach per year. And we've drank fucking Kool-Aid with rum in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, drink the Kool-Aid.
No,
ditch the rum.
We don't drink it.
You know what I mean?
We don't drink the Kool-Aid anymore. No. And we are two of millions of people who are making this choice.
Right.
Now. So, you know, we're just all on a new bandwagon. Thank you everyone for listening. Please keep sending your questions because they're really fun for us and
your answers to those questions, especially those about the private times, because that was a little weird. I want to hear what people are saying. Shit. You wonder why I don't want Brooks to listen to this? My God.
Oh my gosh. And then don't forget to pick up some Amarno.
Dr. Zero.
The label is so cool.
Oh my God, it's adorable. It's super, super delicious.
We love you. Thank you for listening. We wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for you listening. So listening and watching and sharing happyafpodcast.com on all social platforms. Please follow us and subscribe and listen along on your favorite podcast platform. And we love you. We're Happy AF, happy alcohol free.
And happy as fuck.
Yeah, baby.